put 10% on an island that only had penguins on it. And they got tariff. And I mean, listen, but I'm really impressed that penguins have got their act together to export anything to the United States. I mean, that's really very impressive.
They haven't got their act together to fly, so...
Well, they're exporting something or other.
It's 5 Stories with a Funny Friend, and this is a part of the show where I grab a comedian on their way to a gig, and Ian Stone is that comedian tonight. Are you well?
Yeah, I'm all right. Thank you very much. When you introduced we've got some great guests, comedy genius, and I thought, oh, that's nice. And
yes,
then you said
and Ian Stone.
Pie.
Yes. Well, listen, there's so much big news tonight. But you are, of course, a comedy genius.
Oh, Jeff. By the way, Only Fools and Horses, the theme tune.
That would be your unofficial national anthem.
Say, yeah.
Well, listen, we got to crack straight into it this week because there's so much big news. There's a big week for UK business as Keir Starmer signed a trade deal with India and then shortly afterwards an economic agreement with Trump, which Trump called a trade deal anyway. Starmer's team claimed a big win, while Kemi Badenoch said Britain had been, and I quote, shafted. So, I mean, I don't know how you felt about that. I know it's quite strong language, wasn't it?
Blimey, Kemi.
I know. Is Britain getting a good deal here? Has Keir done good business, or was he getting a bit what the kids would call thirsty? Was he over keen to be seen to be doing things?
It did seem like he wanted it too much, don't you think? I mean, we need a win, and when we're not having to eat chlorinated chicken.
Yes.
I mean, I wanted a taste chicken that tasted like it just had a swim.
Yes.
When you like that,
well,
has this breaststroke been doing? Sorry, is this breast? Doesn't matter. You know the joke I was trying to do didn't work out.
But I mean, so what they were saying is, so it's actually chlorine washed. We've been obsessed with this for years.
Yeah.
But chlorinated implies that it's deliberately infused. I mean, now we're into making this sound like a Heston Blumenthal dish. But the Americans say that it was chlorine washed. But you know, the beef thing. That still has a different kind of thing with hormones. So I guess that we can buy that if we want now. That's going to be part of this deal, I think.
Well, it'll be cheaper, won't it? That is the point. And so is it a good deal? Honestly, I haven't looked through the details of it, I'll be honest with you. I mean, I will say this. I mean, Washington apparently promised to give preferential treatment to the UK's pharmaceutical industry. So that's okay then, isn't it? Because Trump has never not kept a promise. So
well, all of this,
we're right there.
All of this is built on the shifting sands that is Donald Trump. I mean, just in terms of like the meeting itself, if the image that Starmer wanted out of it was one of power. It did look a bit obsequious, didn't it? I mean, that whole thing.
Mandelson standing behind him.
Did you see where Mandelson held hands with Trump?
Do you know,
weird.
I didn't, and now I can't unsee it, to be honest with you, in my head. He held hands with him. Why?
I think Donald Trump took his hand, and you know that kind of thing of British diplomacy. What was it? There was an old quote by a British diplomat that said, basically, you know, when you get out there, get up the Americans' posterior and stay there, is apparently the philosophy.
Right.
So that's,
well, holding hands would do it, wouldn't it?
Holding hands is a preferable version of that.
And if Donald Trump put his hand out, would it be very rude of Peter Mandelson? Would it be a diplomatic faux pas to not take his hand?
Well, I guess our press would have zoned in on that, wouldn't they? In the clip culture, people would have zoomed in and that would have gone viral.
Theresa May held his hand.
Apparently that was to keep him balanced.
He's really a very balanced person.
It clearly
isn't he,
didn't
to
work.
be fair. Is it a good... I think we were a bit keen. You know, I mean, with all sort of gigs, you want the job, but you don't want to appear too keen to have the job. You want a certain level of insouciance.
You're saying you've never held hands with a promoter? not unless that was stipulated.
No, not so far.
I think we've actually got a clip. I was talking about Starmer seeming a bit thirsty. I think we've got a clip of him repeatedly saying Donald. He said Donald a lot. Here we go.
Thank you, Mr. President. Donald, can I pay tribute, Donald, to your negotiating team as well? As you say, Donald, the timing couldn't be more apt. And Donald, I think, as you know, Donald, as you say, Donald, thank you for your leadership on that, Donald.
That is a lot of Donald.
Have you added Donalds to that?
No, I don't think I don't even think that. I'm just looking through the glass here to the team. I don't even think that's all of them as it goes. It was Donald uncut, which no one wants to see, really.
Is he? Why was he doing that?
Well, what I got the impression was, you know, like when your father-in-law says to you, hey, you know, you might say, like, Mr. Smith, and he says, hey, call me Ken. So Trump, I think, said...
I said, call me Donald.
And then Keir's gone, oh, that's all I'm going to do.
Yeah, but he should have gone, not that much. Don't call me that much.
I mean, I just almost felt embarrassed for Trump, because Trump's like, all right, mate, you know, there's a point where There's a point where I know there is actually no point where Donald Trump could get embarrassed. I realised what I was about to say.
No shame at all. The thing is, Jeff.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say your name there.
Ian.
No, don't. Let's not do this.
Not do that.
Look, obviously, I think it is probably a win for Keir Starmer in the sense that he's got some sort of deal as opposed to no deal. Whether we end up getting, as Kemi Badenoch said, shafted, I'd rather not think about, if I'm totally honest with you. I mean, the whole thing with tariffs, I think, I mean, because I'm just back from Australia. I was in Melbourne, and they were all talking about tariffs over there. They got 10%. He put 10% on an island that only had penguins on it. And they got tariff. And I mean, listen, but I'm really impressed that penguins have got their act together to export anything to the United States. I mean, that's really very impressive.
They haven't got their act together to fly, so
well, they're exporting something or other. Listen, I don't know if it's a good deal. I think a better deal, to be honest, would be maybe making some sort of deal with the EU, some sort of maybe free trade arrangement.
Here he goes. The Remainers, yeah. Any opportunity.
Well, not any opportunity, opportunity when we're talking, Jeff.
Listen, I think that there are a lot of people that would share your view on that. One thing that was interesting was that Trump never ceased to be amazed that Britain has some things going for it. Listen to this. Trump being amazed by Britain being good at stuff.
I was surprised to see how big your country is in trade, actually. One of the biggest in technology and so many other things. It's agriculture. I really didn't know. It's, depending on your definition, it's from 4 to 5 to 6. That's pretty big in the world. So I was very impressed by that.
I mean, we are still the 6th biggest economy in the world. It's a fair point. I've totally done a reverse ferret. I'm now surprised by that.
Are you? Well, it could be 6. It could be 4 or 5 as well.
We were going down as he spoke there. 4, 5, 6. Oh, I've just looked again. It's 7.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole enormous number of things, to be honest, that Donald Trump doesn't know, and that would be one of them. But somebody might have whispered something in his ear at some point. Listen, actually, you want to pay attention to this one, Donald. They're quite important.
It was almost like Ray Winston doing the in-play odds now. Somebody in his ear. I mean, I do want to talk about the India trade deal as well, because I almost think that this worked out worse for Starmer that they both happened in the same week. But we know that Trump wanted it to coincide with VE Day. He needs a win to kind of corroborate his strategy.
Starmer.
Trump needs a win to corroborate his strategy on tariffs, whereas Starmer, this deal with India is more substantial. And when you actually look at it, we've got access to bid for Indian local government procurement. It just seems to be a better all-round deal.
Well, yeah, but he wouldn't have wanted it to go in the same week, right?
Absolutely not.
I know, but obviously with trade deals, you know what it's like London buses, isn't they?
2 come along at once, and there are always people there that could potentially kill you. You look at India as well. It's got this burgeoning middle class. You wonder if there's more opportunities there in the long run.
I mean, I think in the end, America is a failing state, is what I think. And
there's going to be text on that one.
Well, fair enough.
No, fine.
Fair enough.
Ian Stone says America is a failing state.
Okay. Would you go at the moment?
That's a genuinely interesting question. I think that last few years I've been very keen to go to the States. It's not cropping up in my mind. I wouldn't say I wouldn't go, but I'm certainly thinking of other places.
I don't think I'd look good in orange. Is my genuine feeling about the whole thing. And I've been to India loads, and I absolutely love it. And have you been to India?
Let's go to Goa.
Well, okay then.
Well, we've got a trade deal now. There might be easier access. But yeah, I think it's fair to say that on balance this seems positive for Keir. I suppose just sticking with it, just one more point, is that we got a deal first. What if all the deals afterwards are better? And this just slowly looks worse and worse and worse over the next 12 months.
Well, news moves fast, doesn't it? So really, even if the deal does get worse, it's not like people will be thinking about something that happened 6 months before. I think it'll just be another announcement. We've got another deal. That's I think what will happen. I honestly listen. It's good that we got a trade deal with India, and the more trade, bring them on. Is what
Let's be positive about Britain. I don't mind that at all. We got a couple of texts coming in. John says, Jeff, the issue with chlorine washed chicken isn't the chlorine itself. Some UK salads are washed in it too. The real concern is that chlorine can mask poor hygiene and farming standards, and that's the problem. That's from John. That's the great thing about being on Times Radio. There you go. Just cleared it up in a really concise...
Assuming that person knows what they're talking about.
There you go. He's just anti-American propaganda.